Dr. Jeff Young is a dedicated veterinarian known for his compassion and knowledge, who has touched the lives of limitless animals and those. In state-of-the-art video, we are able to be exploring the life and the heartbreaking tragedy of Dr. Jeff Young from Rocky Mountain Vet. Without any similarly put off, let's discover everything that passed off to him, starting together with his childhood and profession. Background of Dr. Jeff Young. Dr. Jeff Young born in 1956 and grew up in the small town of Indiana, Pennsylvania. From a young age, he displayed a deep love for animals, regularly bringing home strays and caring for injured wildlife. His family supported his ardor, encouraging his dream to work with animals. After high college, Jeff pursued his dream through enrolling at Colorado State University, one of the pinnacle veterinary colleges within the U.USD. There, he earned his Doctor of Veterinary Medicine degree in 1989. During his time at CSU, he became regarded for his relentless paintings ethic and willpower to mastering each issue of veterinary care. It became right here that he solidified his commitment to animal welfare and commenced to form his destiny route. Upon graduating, Dr. Jeff confronted the task of beginning his career in a competitive field. His first task became at a local veterinary hospital wherein he fast won a recognition for his skill and compassion. However, the early days had been no longer without struggle. The lengthy hours, emotional toll, and economic instability had been considerable hurdles. One key revel at some stage in this period changed into his paintings with extensive spay and neuter sanatorium. This enjoy changed into transformative, stressing the important need for less expensive veterinary care and the impact it may have on controlling pet overpopulation. Dr. Jeff noticed firsthand how many animals suffered due to a lack of accessible veterinary offerings, mainly in underserved communities. As his early profession turned into also marked with the aid of his time operating in rural areas, where he encountered numerous instances of neglect and suffering. These experiences profoundly impacted him, shaping his notion that veterinary care must be a fundamental proper, now not a privilege. He had become an advisor for less costly care, aiming to make sure that economic constraints did not save you animals from receiving the medical interest they wanted. Another essential second became his paintings with animal shelters and rescue corporations. Here, Dr. Jeff treated a number of the maximum heartbreaking cases of mistreatment and overlook. These reviews reinforced his commitment to animal welfare and stimulated him to establish a practice that prioritized the nicely being of animals over profit. Dr. Jeff additionally confronted non-public demanding situations. Balancing the demands of his career with own family existence became hard. Despite those challenges, his determination in no way wavered. He persevered to push forward, pushed by using a desire to make a meaningful difference within the lives of animals and their owners. These formative reviews led Dr. Jeff to establish Planned Parenthood Plus in 1990. His aim turned into to provide excellent, cheap veterinary care, specializing in spaying and neutering to manipulate the pet population. He wanted to create a clinic wherein no animal might be grew to become away due to their proprietor's economic state of affairs. Planned Parenthood Plus commenced as a modest health facility but quickly grew because of Dr. Jeff's reputation for supercare and his modern method to veterinary medicine. He targeted around education, each for pet proprietors and his group of workers, believing that informed proprietors could hire care for their pets and that an informed crew could provide the quality care feasible. His youth and career were characterized via a deep commitment to animal welfare, a continuing paintings ethic, and a vision for a higher future for pets everywhere. These studies no longer only fashioned his veterinary philosophy, but also laid the foundation for Dr. Jeff's later achievement and the giant effect of his work. Seeing how this man dedicated himself to animal welfare, it's miles even greater understandable why such a lot of have discovered the tragedy of Dr. Jeff Young. Heartbreaking. The start of Planned Parenthood Plus. Dr. Jeff Young based Planned Parenthood Plus in 1990 with a clean and progressive vision to provide excessive fine, low-cost veterinary care to all animals, irrespective of their proprietor's economic state of affairs. The health facility's primary recognition was on spaying and neutering, vital approaches to govern the pet populace and reduce the variety of homeless animals. However, Planned Parenthood Plus Speedy increased its offerings to include well-known veterinary care, surgeries, and emergency remedies. Dr. Jeff's method was precise in that he used an excessive quantity, low-price model. This approach allowed the sanatorium to serve greater animals and make a vast impact at the community. Dr. Jeff additionally believed in the importance of training. He wanted to train pet proprietors approximately right pet care, preventative measures, and the benefits of spaying and neutering. Additionally, he became committed to schooling the following era of veterinarians and veterinary technicians, offering them with arms on enjoy and instilling in them the values of compassion and accessibility that have been critical to his philosophy. Gefalletin. C'est fausse. Still, the early days of Planned Parenthood Plus were fraught with demanding situations. Financial constraints were a large hurdle. Running an excessive volume, low-price medical institution required huge sources, and there were instances while the health facility struggled to make ends meet. Dr. Jeff often confronted grievance from greater conventional veterinary practices that considered his approach as unsustainable and too radical. Another undertaking became the sheer volume of animals in want. The demand for affordable veterinary care was large, and the health center was frequently crushed. The physician and his group worked lengthy hours under worrying conditions, pushed by their commitment to the mission, however constantly scuffling with burnout and fatigue. Dr. Jeff's unwavering determination and progressive approach began to repay. Word of mouth. Approximately the low-priced, excessive first-rate care furnished with the aid of Planned Parenthood Plus spread unexpectedly. Pet owners who had previously been unable to find the money for veterinary offerings flocked to the clinic. The high-quantity version proved powerful, allowing the hospital to treat a large wide variety of animals at the same time as keeping first-class care. Growth came fast. The rest of the carton quickly served a new and unfiltered ranks. 6 was soon enough for him. The hospital elevated its centers to deal with the growing variety of sufferers. Dr. Jeff also started out to establish partnerships with animal shelters and rescue organizations, in addition extending the health center's reach and effect. These partnerships allowed for a collaborative technique to animal welfare with deliberate Parenthood Plus, presenting clinical take care of rescued animals and supporting in adoption efforts. As the medical institution grew, so did its reputation. Dr. Jeff became recognized not only for his veterinary abilities, however, additionally for his advocacy work. He spoke out about the importance of spaying and neutering, inexpensive veterinary care, and the need for systemic adjustments in the area of animal welfare. His medical institution had become the version for others, inspiring the established order of comparable practices across the country and even internationally. One of the massive milestones within the health center's increase turned into the release of the Planned Parenthood International Initiative. This program aimed to convey his version of less expensive veterinary care to different elements of the world, addressing the global need for handy animal fitness care. Clinics have been installed in diverse nations, all running under the identical principles that guided Planned Parenthood Plus, which makes the tragedy of Dr. Jeff Hood Plus all of the greater heartbreaking. However, we will get to that. Marriage and partnership. Dr. Jeff Young, the charismatic veterinarian from Rocky Mountain Vet, had an extensive and impactful marriage along with his first spouse, Deb Burns. They met at some stage in their high-faculty years in Fort Collins, Colorado, and their relationship quick blossomed right into a lifelong partnership. After excessive faculty, Deb supported Jeff through his veterinary studies and helped him financially and emotionally as he labored towards his dream of becoming a veterinarian. In 1989, Dr. Jeff opened his health facility Planned Parenthood Plus in Denver, Colorado, with Deb gambling an important position in its basis. She not only controlled the health facility and dealt with consumer interactions, however, also assisted in being concerned for the animals, showcasing her deep dedication to their shared venture of lower-priced veterinary care. Together, they'd 3 youngsters, Melody, Ivy, and Dylan, who grew up in the health center environment, studying to comprehend and care for animals from an early age. This was the 3rd descendant throughout the vampire. However, notwithstanding their sturdy partnership in both personal and professional realms, their marriage in the end faced challenges, tragically leading to their divorce within the early 2000s. The reasons for their separation remained private, but the cut-up was surely difficult for each of them and their kids. A heartbreaking tragedy, if you will. Following the divorce, Deb moved far away from Denver, remarried, and took the name she has today. She maintained a cordial dating with Jeff and every now and then visited the medical institution and their kids. Deb's departure from Planned Parenthood Plus marked a sizable exchange for the sanatorium, as she were a foundational part of its operations. Despite the quit of their marriage and her exit from the medical institution, Deb's have an impact on the early fulfillment and improvement of Planned Parenthood Plus remains huge. She supplied critical aid for the duration of its adolescence, supporting to set up the medical institution's reputation for affordable and compassionate veterinary care. This transition also led to changes in Dr. Jeff's lifestyles and profession. After their separation, he controlled to grow the hospital and amplify its reach, which in his ongoing paintings and the eventual pass to a bigger facility in Wheat Ridge, Colorado in 2018 exhibit his dedication to the health center's task and his resilience within the face of personal and expert adjustments. Unfortunately, although this wouldn't be the remaining heartbreaking tragedy Dr. Jeff could face. But before we get to that, let's speak about the very aspect that made Dr. Jeff well known. Global. Rocky Mountain Vet. The idea for Rocky Mountain Vet originated from stories that spread out daily at Planned Parenthood Plus. The health facility's excessive volume, low-price model, and Dr. Jeff's willpower to animal welfare created a vibrant environment filled with emotional and dramatic cases, a number of which ended in heartbreaking tragedies. This setting evidently lent itself to a fact TV display format. However, the tale in the back of it's far captivating, despite the fact that turns out the producers from Animal Planet were seeking out a veterinary show that showcased no longer only the clinical aspects, but also the human-animal bond and the emotional stories behind each case. When they found out about Dr. Jeff and his work at Planned Parenthood Plus, they noticed the capacity for a hit series. This is Graham Lee's script that I wrote for him. The manufacturers approached him with the idea of making a show that might file the daily operations of his health facility, the demanding situations his team confronted, and the inspirational memories of the animals they handled. Initially, Dr. Young was hesitant. He was concerned that a TV display may distract from the health facility's mission or sensationalize their paintings. However, after discussions with the producers, he realized that the show could be a powerful platform to raise focus about animal welfare issues and the significance of low-priced veterinary care. It could also offer a possibility to teach a much wider audience on accountable pet ownership and the benefits of spaying and neutering. The production team spent several months making plans and getting ready for the show's release. And they mounted cameras at some stage in the clinic to capture the each-day operations and accompanied Dr. Jeff and his group as they done surgeries, treated emergencies, and interacted with clients. The producers aimed to painting the medical institution's environment authentically, focusing at the emotional and scientific demanding situations confronted by means of the group of workers. The medical doctor and his group needed to adapt to having a film team gift, which changed into, to begin with, challenging. However, they soon have become conversant in the cameras, and the filming method commenced to feel like a natural part of their ordinary.